Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome to this episode of the Cynexlink podcast. It's your host, Adam Tunji, back at you guys again with another episode. And today I am sitting down with Henry Jones. Henry, what's going on? Thank you so much for hopping on the podcast.
Oh man, just keeping things together, trying to anyway. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. So, why don't you give us a little bit of background so, for everybody that's listening can kind of get up to date with what you do. But, I'll give you a quick introduction. So we know you're currently the Chief Technology Officer over at First Commercial Bank. So, that I'm gonna leave the rest up to you. So why don't you kind of give us a little bit more of like some background and tell us more about yourself when we kind of get this conversation started.
Okay, great. Yeah, I've got over 25 years experience in the technology industry, from anything from help desk to programming to director roles in my current role as the Chief Technology Officer. Really came up, the majority of my career was spent programming, so got a fondness for that. But I also have a real passion for cybersecurity and what that means, what the role for that that job is.
And what does cybersecurity mean to you?
Uh, Protecting those around us. I think when you think of the cybersecurity um, personnel, that's what comes to my mind anyway. And I think if you're in the cybersecurity industry and that's not top of mind, I think there's something wrong with the way you're thinking about things.
What inspired you to kind of want to get into this space? Like a while back, what was it that triggered it for you?
I guess everything that's going on within the world today. There seems to be a growing need for cybersecurity personnel. I know um, there's already a lot of people pushing and moving toward that industry, but you've got an uptick in the number of um, fraudulent attacks, malicious actors out there, and it seems to be growing exponentially. And just trying to keep up with that in the cybersecurity industry, I think, is a real challenge. So that was one thing that kind of led me this way.
What have like, from your perspective, like what do you see the most common like challenges like companies face or things that they might be lacking from a sense when it comes to cybersecurity?
I think looking at it from a smaller organization, which we are a smaller organization, just the number of personnel and the dollar amount that can be budgeted towards cybersecurity, and you have to manage the budget with how to best protect an organization. And you're not left with a lot of bells and whistles, but you go back to the basics of what you really think cybersecurity is. Whether it's network layering, educating the people around you um, on what to and what not to do, how to report things, that kind of thing. Just a mindset centered around the basics.
So what from your, how do you kind of see like emerging technologies like AI and all these kind of things like affecting the way we do like cybersecurity?
I think AI is just going to increase in the area of cybersecurity. I think you see it on the fraudulent side. It's way too easy for malicious actors to do the things that they do now. If you've got um, a Bitcoin account or something like the crypto account, and you know where to go to find these tools to do this, you can go get that done or get access to those tools. So we have to I'll say on the good guy side, we have to make sure that we utilize AI to the best of its ability, and continue to look at it as a way to do business, as a way to protect. It can go through tons more data than a person can just sitting down looking at logs and things like that. So we've got to be able to utilize it to do that.
So, from your perspective, is there certain things that you feel like, hey, if you were to walk into like this new organization that's looking to buff up their cyber posture, right? Like, what's like the top three things you would tell them to look at?
Um, I think, like I said, back to what I said earlier, going back to the basics, making sure that you've got policies in place, that you've got the education in place. And I know those aren't the sexy topics that people want to talk about, but those are two of the main things that come to mind. Making sure that there's not technology, that there's not AI being used just for the sake of using it. I'm not a big fan of just using technology for the sake of technology. It has to have a legitimate, vetted purpose uh, to be used. So I think the just going back to the basics, looking at those things are what I would recommend.
Do you agree with the premise of like blocking AI completely? Like I know some organizations like block Chat GPT and stuff like that, but
I don't agree in wholesale blocking it. I agree in making sure that it's used for what it needs to be for its intended purpose. I also think that a proper vetting should go should be done between the tool itself and the company offering the tool.
yeah, totally. And with the rise of kind of like so how a lot of companies are working remotely now, right? And you got
Right.
this whole shebang going on with AI and stuff. What sort of tools or at least like what strategies do you recommend for like companies to be able to properly have remote employees in place?
Um, I recommend a good VPN to start with. Um, I think if you don't have that, you're starting out on the wrong foot. I think you have to have MFA in place. I don't think it should be just encouraged. I think it needs to be a a must. Um, those and those things aren't um, the end all be all, but
Uh,
those are good places to start. Um,
so in from I guess like is there specific tools that you recommend people to look into that you think are like pretty prominent in the industry that you specifically like over others, or
for remote access or for
I guess just
um,
general like VPNs for like yeah remote access things like that.
I think Cisco has some pretty good products on the market. I think if you're just looking at AI in general for wading through email logs and different things like that, you should look at Threat Locker and give some of those tools a once over. Uh, a good endpoint detection uh, response system, such as a Sentinel-1 or something like that, would be good. Anything anything that helps out with data loss prevention, whether it be on the switches or with some type of software embedded, you need to have to be able to see where your data is going as well.
Totally. So what can you how do you kind of approach the balance between like security measures and like user convenience?
Uh, that's interesting. If it was up to me, you'd like to say, well, user convenience comes second, and that's not necessarily always the case. I'm more of a protect first mindset, but the truth is, you have to balance that out with user convenience, whether it's with a single sign-on, um, passwordless. A lot of people are going to that um, sign on. Passwords. Remembering passwords have been a bane of existence for a lot of people for a lot of years. And what people wind up doing is having all these systems with using the same password, and we all know that's not a good thing. So finding some way to help out in that respect, um, I think is going to be big for any organization going forward.
I love it. I love it. And are you I know because like you're part of a bank, so how do you kind of balance, maintaining your practices and keeping up with regulations? Do you have like a specific strategy, or just kind of go with like the wave as it comes?
Well, I think you have to have you have to have help with that. You have to have first of all, you have to do internal audits for yourself, and make sure that the things that you covering your bases, the things that need to be covered, and you're protecting, you are. And if you're not, you need to have those hard conversations. Policies and procedures need to be in place. And a chief data officer or someone who fills that role in a governance capacity has to control the data. And again, going back to auditing all that, you have to have those hard conversations internally, and that's something that's difficult for a lot of organizations, especially small organizations, when you maybe don't have the people on hand to do that. So maybe you rely on a third party to help you out with that.
Totally. And then from your perspective, have you ever faced a cyber attack at all in your career?
I have, in fact, and it's not a pleasant thing to go through, but you have to make sure that prior to that you have the proper cyber insurance. Make sure that whoever you're using is on the approved list. If you have a managed service provider or someone that you need to have help from in a case like that, you need to make sure that the insurance will cover that. Whether it be, those are more for ransomware attacks and things like that. But in business email compromise, it comes down to making sure that, again, policies and procedures, and you follow those, whether you isolate the system, you perform a thorough investigation, you notify the parties involved, just going through step by step and making sure that you cover all those bases. Data backups play a large part in this as well, and not just making sure that they're backed up, but making sure that those data backups are either air gapped, immutable, or both. And then in that case, making sure the data backups that you have taken can actually be restored. I know of cases where people have taken backups for years, and all of a sudden there's a need for a large scale, restore, and the backups don't function as they should. So you need to have those things in place and tested on a regular basis to make sure that everything functions as it should.
I love it. Yeah, I was just about to ask you like what steps you should take to like minimize damage and recover quick, but I guess you kind of sped ahead of me on that one. Any other like maybe insight on that at all?
No, just again, making sure that things function, the things that you have set up and the steps that you've got in place function as they should. I think that's huge. Again, you can have all these processes and procedures in place, but if you can't get a good restore from a backup, then it really doesn't matter. Or if you restore a backup that's already been tampered with, you're still not in a good place.
Kind of do like a fire drill, but on your security stack.
Exactly. And that goes from top to bottom, not just within the IT, but what do you report to the board? What does the board see from that, and how do they react? Who contacts the media or, the regulators or that kind of thing. So it needs to be step by step taken through.
I love it. I love it. So, well, finally, what advice would you give to aspiring IT and security professionals? Kind of looking to just grow and make an impact in this space.
Man, I think you have to tell them to focus on continually learning. There's never a case where you stop learning. I think if you stop learning, it's time to find something else to do. If you can get hands-on experience, it's great to take a class and understand things from that point of view, but nothing beats the hands-on experience. Maybe internships or find a mentor. learn how to network with people. Again, I think if you found a mentor who could help you with that, learn how to talk to people. Uh, People always talk about the soft skills, but I don't think there's so much soft skills anymore. They're just necessary skills. And
Mm,
there's too many people that I've come across. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's just you have to be careful who you talk to. But there's too many people who really don't understand how to communicate, not just technology, not just cyber, but technology in general to a lay person, to explain it to them. Not everybody's as technical as um, maybe someone given the explanation. Um, just to stay curious about things, try things out.
I love it, Henry. I love it. Well, where can people find you online if they want to look you up and just kind of ask you questions or connect with you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I don't have a Facebook presence, but I'm on LinkedIn working on a YouTube channel. So we'll see
Oh,
how that
really?
goes.
What's it going to be about?
Just kind of working it out right now. I'll let you know when it happens.
That's cool. Nice. Oh, hey, thank you so much for hopping on the show, my man.
Thank you, man, for having me.
Yeah, and for everybody that's listening, if you guys enjoyed, please remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. All right. Have a good day.
Thanks.